What's up, guys? It's Conan again. So I just wanted to show you guys an update on my boss build, and I've changed up a couple things. And let's take a look at that so far. And what I wanted to start focusing on first is the two. Is now I'm not using Ember or not using it because I don't have a good Ember set. But in that, I discovered something better. As you can see here in my main stat line, you can see my critical hit chance now is 90%, and my critical damage is 3,035%. Now these two stats are directly related to each other. Without crit chance, you can't really put that critical damage to use. And one disclaimer that I want to point out, and a lot of people might not know, is that the 90% increase is on top of your base critical chance, which is 15%. So in other words, it's 190%. Take 190%, multiply it by 15% in order to get your true critical chance amount, which for me is about 27%. So don't think that it's actually 90% that I'm getting critical hits 90% of the time. It's actually 27%. Right, so now let's look down at my blessings, my current blessings. I have the Meteor from the Captain set. I have the Bouncing Shackles from my Grim. The Light Fairies from my White Wedding. Thorns from my Boring Helm. And Aquila is my pet. Now, I wanted to bring this to note that, in my opinion, the wolf pelt and the wolf chest is actually the strongest single item chest in the game at the moment, offensively. The reason being is that it has a higher base critical damage than Ember and Captain's Uniform. As you can see here, Captain's Uniform only has 500% critical damage as base for maxed out, while the Wolf's Pelt, Moonwolf's Pelt, has 553. Now, those are important numbers to note, is that it's 50% more critical damage. And then, of course, the rolls, it also has it has 2 DPS runes on it, which is another advantage it has against the Ember chest. Now, I'm not sure about the new items yet, the Doctor chest or the Rat chest, but for the Wolf chest, it has 2 DPS runes. And I wanted to point out here too, the Grim has versus the Captain's Flag. The Captain's Flag only has 1,125 critical damage, while as you saw earlier, Grim has 1,439, which is almost 300% more than the next strongest shield. And here, let's take a look at my skills. I have Meteor almost maxed out at level 49. You don't really need level 50 because that just reduces the cooldown. You can see my Venom Splash is maxed out now, which is a positive because not only is it more damage, but also the cooldown is only 9 seconds, which there's only 3 seconds of lag time. And then I also maxed out my Frenzy, which means that the cooldown time is only 6 seconds. Now, I'm pretty much running the same thing with my talents. I'm still running the Poison Slayer, Adrenaline, and the Sword Mastery. Now, some people have been using the Speed Kill, but I don't really use it because I don't think the totem consistently pops up enough for you to get this bonus often. Moreover, 10% increase in your speed isn't really that much, and it only lasts for 5 seconds. Adrenaline, on the other hand, will give you an increase of 100% to your damage if you do manage to get your life, or make a mistake, your life where your life goes down to 20%, you will get that 100% increase in damage. So let's jump into some runs here. As you can see, 2 of my teammates, they're both running Ember, which is a huge positive because that will help me where I'm not running Ember and relying on Poison Splash alone. So with my teammates having Ember on, the boss is constantly poison, allowing me to get additional damage from Poison Slayer. So what I'm doing a little differently from my other runs before is that I'm sticking into this little sweet spot that I would like to credit to Rexnull for pointing this out. the boss normal attack, which is his circular 360 attack that hits all areas except these little corners that, if you notice, there are little open areas where his attack is not hitting. Now I'm still taking damage, but it's not as much damage as I would if I were to stand directly in front of him instead of in between those blasts. So by standing there, I'm able to keep my life up along with staggering the heal. So the best thing to do is to let the bots heal you first, and then from there you can stagger your healing with the bots so that when they're on cooldown, you're healing. So I can see here, all I'm doing is standing in one spot and constantly spamming my poison splash and spamming frenzy. Now you don't have to use poison splash, but I guess sometimes I don't trust the bots to always proc their poison, so I'm just using poison when I can. And it's easy when, let's say, when you're in frenzy mode and your attacks are so fast, it doesn't really matter for you to it doesn't really slow you down just to activate poison splash every now and then when you have bots that have even when you have bots that have Ember. As you can see here, once you reach that 30-second point, there's a totem that I saw in the corner. There's a high chance that there will be a totem in the last 30 seconds. Just keep an eye out for it so that you can kill it before it procs any shield for the boss. That's very important, because if it does, then you'll lose out on a lot of damage. If you have bots that have primal, that's an extreme, that's a very good advantage, as the primal would proc and kill the totem on its own. So you don't have to move around, and it'll just do it for you. As you can see in my run here, I did 3.2 million damage, and then with the upgrade to the bots in the recent upgrade, I got a total of 6.1 million. So let's go into the second run I'm about to showcase here. So in my next run is your worst case scenario, in the sense where since you're not running Ember, you want to have bots that run Ember. And so in this scenario, I'm not getting any bots with Ember. But you'll see that I got more damage because in the previous video, my set wasn't fully maxed yet. But in this video, my set is completely maxed out. Okay, so let's jump in again. It's important that you guys don't have your auto attack on, so then you can actually move your character to that sweet spot right there and don't have to worry about readjusting or repositioning yourself throughout the match. So I'm just going to stick in that spot and then continuously attack while not having to worry about my life going down too much. I know that by sticking in the sweet spot, you lose the chance of adrenaline, of dropping your life down to 20%. So adrenaline is not going to really work. But to me, this is more consistent than trying to position yourself where you're gonna lose enough damage to go down to 20%. At the same time, by sitting in the spot where you're receiving more damage, there's a chance that your White Wedding will stop procting because your life can go down below 90%. Now, it's important to note that not only is it important for you to keep your White Wedding up, right? But the Aquila, he only stays up if you're at 95%, which is even more difficult than Aquila. Which is more difficult than the White Wedding, which requires 90%, right? So that's why it's so important to stay in that sweet spot so that you receive less damage as possible, the least damage as possible, in order for you to maintain your overall damage. So you can see here, I'm just sticking in that same spot. Thanks to one of my teammates, God of Death. He has a primal. So in this round, you'll see that I don't really need to do much. I just need to stand in my spot. And then at the 20, you'll see the totem on the right-hand corner coming up really soon. I think he is right there. There he is. So you see the totem popped out, but my teammate's primal took him out. So I didn't have to worry about it. And then I can continue attacking, not moving, staying in that same spot, just continuously attacking, getting as much damage as I can. So this time my overall team score was less, but you'll see that my individual score is higher because of my max stats. So in this run, you can see that my run was stronger at 3.4. My highest so far with this set is 3.7. So just leave it. So that's it for this one, you guys. I'll talk to you guys later. See you guys.